Namaste, my friends, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Victor, and I help people navigate through their spiritual awakening process. And today I'm going to share with you some things that I've learned along my journey that help me reset myself after a period of indulgence in all the many forms that may take. Because of the nature of the spiritual awakening and its ability to bombard you with sometimes challenging aspects of yourself that were once hidden, it can create an uncomfortable feeling in your state of being for a little bit of a time there at times. This is not news to you. And sometimes we just freaking lose it. We just lose it. We just get sick of feeling this way and we just, screw it. Where are the cookies? Where's the weed? Where's the alcohol? And it can get a lot worse for some of us, I know. And then it's like, oh my goodness, because we're on this spiritual path and we are now looking at ourselves under like a magnified lens with even higher expectations because we're given glimpses of our potential and we kind of have a greater discernment of right and wrong when we act out of alignment with our ideal. It can be incredibly devastating. But sometimes the awakening is so challenging that it just happens. Maybe not to you, then you're a better person than I, but it's happened to me countless times. And in the past, I would take that little lapse of judgment or willpower and I would turn it into something 10 times more dark and negative because of my definitions and how I judge myself so harshly. And then it would oftentimes, ironically, create even more cycles of indulgence, making me feel even worse. And it was just this huge mess. So anyways, if you guys can relate to that at all, I'm going to share with you some things that I think can help you reset your vibration, reset your energy, and just get over it much faster. Number one, you might already expect I'm going to say this based on my introduction, but it's forgive yourself. Just stop. Stop with the negative talk. Stop with the criticism. Stop with the unrealistic high bar that you set for yourself, because it's all of those expectations that create the feelings of like I suck at life. If you can just sort of like see yourself the way you would see another person, it can go a long way. If you've seen someone going through a challenging experience and an experience that's causing them to like basically be pushed to their very limit at all times, there's never a break. At least I haven't really had much of a break in my awakening where I've just sat for a few months and not been challenged in some way, whether it's externally or emotionally. No, it's been a constant. The moment I started this like a decade ago, it's been a constant, fast-paced confrontation with all of my ego stuff and all the many ways it can play out. And it's a tiresome, challenging process, all the while having to keep up a normal life, a job, family, relationships, house repair, all these different practical things that can bring most normal people to their wits' end. Combine that with your demanding and incessant awakening, it's unrealistic and insane, really, to expect perfection from yourself. So just remember that. And that logic hopefully is enough to allow you to go easier on yourself and relax on yourself. So if you can just not feel guilty. Real quick, a little tangent here. One of the main things I've gained over my years of like going through this process consciously is the ability to forgive myself sooner. And man, what a difference it makes in my life. So that I won't continue, but if I could just plant that one seed in your mind, I think it'll help alleviate a lot of the awakening and even life stress. So just have that focus initially when you're done with the binge or whatever. Forgive yourself and move on. Number two is usually there's a lesson in there. I would seek the lesson because that in itself, the discovery and the learning of the discovery of maybe the spiritual or life development significance of the manifestation of you going a little nutty, that can oftentimes prevent them from happening in the future, at least in that way. So I'll give you an example. There's almost always a lesson. Just last Saturday, I'm almost ashamed to admit, not really, it's not a big deal, but I lost count, but I had probably like 20 freaking pancakes, these gluten-free pancakes, and I normally, having a lot of sugar for me is not good. And the amount of sugar and like the way I went nuts on these freaking pancakes the other day, it was so bad. It was like a bad example for my kids to see me like that. It made me feel crappy and in like cloudy all the rest of the day. And so that's kind of what sprung the idea for this video. In the past, my indiscretions were a lot more severe. Some of you are thinking, oh wow, pancakes, wow, you're real hardcore. Now, I was a junkie, a heroin addict, a crackhead. I know what it's like to get really go off the deep end. But anyway, what I found is it's all just kind of a metaphor for a certain aspect of yourself that it just needs healing or something to learn about yourself. So anyway, I was looking at like, why did that happen, Victor? You just came back from this Costa Rica trip. You're all blissed out for a while. Why were you so quick to go nuts on these freaking pancakes? Well, it's because I realized I was being too strict with myself. I got a taste of what it's like to live without stress in my life, without my children, without my wife, without having to really do anything except work on myself and eat healthy food and converse with light workers and take ayahuasca and go to the heavens. And I came back and I was so like intent on maintaining that. And what that caused me to do was to be like overly strict with myself out of a desperation of not losing what I had gained. But it's just not balanced. I was not going through life in a balanced way at all. And it eventually amounted to me losing my shit and having a bunch of pancakes. So that was for me to, Vic, lighten up on yourself. Chill out. Don't be so rigid, man. You don't have to be perfect, a perfect spiritual vessel. So even though I felt like crap after the pancakes, I was like, wow, that's a pretty profound insight. Thank you, good. So I eliminated the guilt. I sought the lesson, and I learned a lot about myself, and it sprung many different self-insights about myself, and just like looking back at my past and how rigid I am always with like my workouts and my diet and my meditation practice and all these different things, my YouTube schedule, all these different things I've been so like neurotic about. And that one binge out helped illuminate that about myself, and that's a very profound insight that I believe will have a big wide ripple effect in my life and just alleviate a lot of unnecessary tension and stress. So there's there's usually a good lesson to be learned from something like that. Number 3 is more of a practical suggestion that can help you do those first 2 things, because when we act out of alignment with what we perceive to be our ideal self, the racy mind, when I say like stop judging yourself, sometimes it's hard because the mind is, you suck, you messed up, it's going so fast. Not only are we judging ourselves, but we're like desperately seeking ways of alleviating the stress. I'll go on a diet. I'm gonna be sober, I'm gonna quit smoking, and it's just this monkey mind that goes nuts. And the first 2 things I suggested might not be possible unless you quiet your mind. Double up on your meditation. That's exactly what I did. Sunday night, I meditated for quite a while before bed. That next Monday, I meditated for another 20 minutes. That's doubling up for me as of lately. And I went in, I was able to kind of relax my thoughts so that I could do those first 2 things. And I was able to turn one bad weekend or one night. It did kind of spill into the rest of the weekend, that behavior. But I was able to kind of go into Monday feeling good and clean. I shot a bunch of videos. I felt good. I worked with my clients, and I basically I cut it off at the head, basically. But I believe the meditating helped me quite a bit because it allowed me to have that clarity. And lastly, if you can do those first few things, that'll give way to a clearer mind, now enlightened with new insight. And what I do anyway is I set my intentions. I try to go into the next couple days with a bit of a game plan. and what I did this on Monday morning after my meditation, I visualized myself going through my day, not indulging, just having a nice healthy balance with everything. I just kind of took about 5 minutes and just kind of saw myself. I just tried to like set the stage to help me succeed in truly transcending that weekend. So that's kind of my process. I've done that. I'm a lot better at it now. In the past, again, I used to allow a period of indiscretion make me hate myself in life for a good amount of time. And I just wanted to share this with you guys because I know a lot of people who I talk to, they have these they have an ideal version of themselves that they know is possible, and but their awakening due to the nature of the experience can sometimes cause us to learn hard lessons by acting way out of character, and that's fine. That there's a lot of value in that if we can just leave it at that. But just because of how we are made up, we can oftentimes take that experience and just go off the deep end with it. And that's my invitation for you to stay in the shallow end. Learn the lesson, get rid of the guilt, learn from it, take action based on your findings, and count it as a blessing. So anyways, my friends, take that for what you will. I hope it helps you in some way, and I will see you guys in the next video. Have an amazing day. Thank you for everything. Namaste.